Alright guys, welcome to another Paint the Moon Vaporizer review. Today we're going to be checking out the Arizer Air, the newest vaporizer from Arizer. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so when you get your unit, it's going to come in a plain box like this. There's going to be another box around it when it ships to you, but this is the packaging for the unit. And it has a little serial number right there, which matches the serial number on your unit. So when you open it up, you get some papers. First use guide, which basically says that the aroma tubes, the tubes that come with the unit, aren't going to be very tight, or they're going to be really, really tight, hard to get into the unit. So when you do that, the best thing to do is to turn on the max temperature, let it do a full heat cycle, which is 10 minutes, and then you'll put the glass tube in. It'll stretch the O-ring that's in there out a little bit, make it a lot easier to insert your stem to take it back out. And then you have some safety instructions and warnings, always important, and you have your user manual. We'll go into everything that's in these in the full review. In the rest of the box, you get one long tube. Clearly I've used it a little bit. You get a shorter tube with a plastic mouthpiece on it, which screws off. And you'll get a little potpourri dish. It also comes with some wildflowers as just an herb they include with it. And you also get your charger, which just plugs into the back of the unit. This little flap thing. Here's the front, back, flap right there. And you also get a really cool little carrying case with it. I personally don't use the carrying case, but if you like to use carrying cases, comes with this little one. Just opens right up, has a pouch right there for the unit. It's a pouch for your stem side, on each side actually. So you can just pop both of your stems in there, close it up, on the go carry. Then you have everything in one little package, which is really nice. So that's all that comes in the box. So let's get to the unit itself. Here's the unit. It's very sleek, nothing really on the unit except on the very bottom. Here's the top part. This is where you insert your stems, right down into this little chamber. All you do to insert them, so let me take this out real quick. Just take your stem, load it up with your herbs, turn it like this, press it in the unit. Ready to go. I do find that these stems kind of restrict the airflow even more. So when you put it in, try just lifting it up like a fraction of a millimeter, like barely lift it, and it gives a lot more airflow than if it's pressed fully down. And then, as I said, charging the back, but unlike the Solo, this has replaceable batteries. So the unit comes with one battery like this. It's an 18650. Not sure of what the amp limit is on this, but if you have, say, a Samsung 25R, or if you're one of the few people who has an actual VTC4 or VTC5 laying around, this has a lower amp limit than those. No battery has a 30A amp limit, so if you have a VTC4 or VTC5, perfectly safe to use. I've used the LG batteries. I've also used a couple of VTC4s. They've worked fine, haven't had any problems with the unit. You can also buy these from Arizer, but they're more expensive than, say, a Samsung 25R 18650 battery. So that's the battery. Battery life is okay. Not as good as the Solo, but the Solo has two 18650s, so that's why. You get about 4 to 5 sessions off one battery. I've only done up to 2 or 3, and then I charge it, just as I hate it when my unit dies on me in the middle of a session. It's just so aggravating. It does come with a onboard charger. I use an external because I have one. This charger works perfectly fine. I personally wouldn't try using it while charging. They had a lot of issues with the Solo when they came out with having that feature. I just wouldn't risk it. You don't want to fry your unit and have to send it back and deal with all the warranty stuff. So it's really a lot better if you just don't use it while you're charging. Buy an extra battery, have that extra battery around. If your battery dies, switch it out, charge it when you're not using it. If you don't have an external charger. Alright, so got the air, got my stem. Just going to load it up real quick and we'll go through all the temperatures and stuff like that. So I'm going to start off in the lowest setting, which to turn it on, hold these two buttons. So the light up here will blink, let go, and it'll turn blue. And there we go. Alright, so this little bottom light will blink blue. Once that turns solid, it's ready to go. Blue is the lowest temperature setting. It's 180 degrees Celsius or 356 degrees Fahrenheit. Very low temp vaping. It's alright. I usually go straight to green, which is the third temperature setting. That is 200 degrees Celsius or 392 degrees Fahrenheit. I find that it's more like 380 degrees Fahrenheit, but that's just me. So that's how I load the stem. I just put my stem in my little grinder, suck until it's full. Then it has the kind of the perfect pack, at least I think, for the unit. So load that in, turn it over, pull it out just a little bit. Still heating up. It does take a while to heat up, at least a minute to like a minute 30, just out to temperature. Gonna let it just sit for a little bit. One thing you really need to do with your stems is make sure that you buy 1/2-inch pipe screens. Very important, because those pipe screens will keep your dry herbs from coming into your mouth, and they just give a better vape experience, I think. You can also dome the screens and use even less material. Than the Solo is one of the most, or the Air and the Solo. This is like the baby Solo, but it's one of the most efficient vaporizers. It only uses like 0.1 grams, and that's without a screen. So if you dome the screen in there, you'll use like less than half, like 0.05 grams of material, and like it vapes perfectly. So let's take a pull. Flavor is fantastic. The lower settings are solely for flavor junkies. Like, if you strive for that delicious, like, fresh, crisp flavor, you're gonna love the lower settings on the Air. Actually, let's do a size comparison. I have the Solo right here, without the stem in. With the stem in, look at how much bigger the Solo is in the Air. And look at the thickness difference. It's easily less than half as thick. And it goes to a higher temperature range and has replaceable batteries. And in my opinion, it gives a better vape overall. You'll get some visible vapor on the lower settings. Not very much, but the flavor is just so good. You kind of just want to stick with like the lower 3 settings. But for me, like if I want to do a quick session, just go straight to green. Most of my sessions are pretty quick. I want to like just get where I want to go as fast as possible. So I tend to just go straight to green. After a few hits, bump it up again, and that's done. It does have a 10-minute auto shut-off, which the Solo has a 12. Not sure why they changed it. Probably because of the higher temperature. But overall, I like the Air much more than the Solo. And the Solo was my favorite vaporizer for a very long time. So I'm going to bump it up to the next setting, which they call their white setting. It's kind of like an orangish, yellowish color. But it's 190 degrees or Celsius or 374 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll just let it's fully heated. Once it gets up to that first temperature, getting past it's not very hard. One thing that I like about it is on the Solo, it had those lower 4 temperature settings that I never used. I would always go straight to level 4 and then bump it up to like 5 or 6 and be done. Whereas with this, you can do the entire range and still get a good vape experience. which in my opinion is much more important than having the ability to go really, really low in temperature. You get really good vapor. One thing you'll notice, this is the same with every vaporizer, as you increase temperature and as your session goes on, the vape quality is going to go down. It's going to get that popcorny taste. You're going to not have as high of quality vapor, but it's all part of the experience, you know? You just got to kind of roll with it. One thing I forgot. The Solo does come with a protective skin of sorts. It's basically a vape condom. It's honestly what it looks like. I don't have it with me because it looks so ridiculous. I don't know why anyone would use it, but it does come in a range of colors. Mine came with a white one, and it just looked weird on this. Like, it just didn't look good. But it comes in a bunch of different colors. I think the black would look great on here. Pretty sure it comes in black. It insulates this heater so it's not as hot. The skins look nice if you get the right color. Like, if you had the silver, I think the white would look a lot better than with the black, because it makes the vape like this gray mesh material, and it just looks weird. We'll include a picture at the end of what the skin looks like and all the different colors and stuff, so you guys can see it. And we'll probably just put a link in the description or something too. We'll see. But anyways, so I'm going to bump it up again to the green, which, as I said before, 200 degrees Celsius, 392 degrees Fahrenheit. Just heating up real quick. Already there. Gets there quick. Flavor's going to go down kind of dramatically from the white setting. I find that the flavor on green is only good for like 1 to 2 hits at the very beginning of the session. Then it becomes that popcorny taste you think of when you vape. You will get more vapor. Basically, the more vapor you get, the less flavor you get. Honestly, I don't have a bad thing to say about this unit. Kind of grasping at straws here for what to say. The only thing I don't like is this flap back here for the battery charger doesn't stay on. Really aggravates me. I just wish it would stay in. I'm going to figure something out to just make it stay, but whatever. That's really the only thing that I have wrong with this unit. It does take a while to charge the battery in the unit, but really those are the only 2 things that I find wrong with it at all. Besides that, it's perfect. Like, there's really nothing wrong with it. Alright, gonna bump it up to yellow, which is 205 degrees Celsius, or 401 degrees. So, the highest setting, I'm just going to tell you now, is the red setting. It's 210 degrees Celsius and 410 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty much a top range you want in a vaporizer. You don't want to go much higher than that because you get too close to combusting. But it gives you the full range of temperatures. So you have like the people who like low temp vaping, they can do that. People who like high temp vaping, they can also do that in one unit. Solo didn't have that. The Solo was mostly low temp vaping. The highest setting was, I think, as high as the green setting on this. It was like 390, something like that. See, a lot more vapor. Flavor's not good. I personally like using this stem. Not too keen on plastic in my vapor path. Just not a huge fan of it. But, I mean, you in theory could just take this cap off. Then you'd have a very short stem in here. If you want like a little shorty stem, or you want to hook it up to like a water pipe or something, this would actually be a pretty good idea, I think. The holes are actually smaller in this one than in this stem. These little 4 holes at the bottom there. They're smaller in this stem than this one, so the draw's a lot tighter on this. I don't think you would really need a screen with this. The holes are that much smaller. You need a screen with this if you don't want your material coming up, getting in your mouth. It's just not a fun time. But with this, you don't really need a screen because the holes are so small. But it also you have to suck so much harder just to even get your material in there. I feel like you can't do the same packing that you can do with this. And this is a much more, I think, efficient way to pack. But yeah, those are literally my only problems with this unit. It has replaceable batteries, which are almost a must now for a lot of vapes. It's very portable. As you can see, I mean, it's not as portable as a lot of units, but substantially more portable than Solo, which I think is a big plus. It only gets hot up here, so you can have your entire hand on it and have your hand not even really be warm, which is awesome. And then they made the stems so much shorter too, but the vapor's not any hotter or harsher, even on the higher settings. The unit just turned off, so I'm turning it back on real quick. I'm just going to go straight to the red setting. I'm going to show you guys a little thing too. So if you just hold this down button, it'll take you right to the last setting you were at. Just right away. It's awesome. And it does beep normally if you have the unit, but you can turn that off by holding this up button down for like 3 seconds. Like watch. Hear that beep? That's the beep it makes every time it like turns on or turns off. And you turn it off again by just holding the up button. Done. No beeping. I prefer not to have the beep. Some people like it, some people don't. It's your own thing. But I prefer without it. On the red setting, flavor, not that great. Vapor reductions are really good though. But I mean, a lot of time, exhaled vapor is wasted vapor, you know? So you don't want like huge clouds of vapor to just be wasted. But this setting would be good for people who are coming from smoking, like they want that full hit, like they want all the body effects and everything. So definitely a good option if this is like your first vaporizer or your first expensive vaporizer and you like that higher temp. Green, yellow, red. That's your session right there. Starts off, get some nice flavor, bump it up, get a little few quick hits, bump it straight to red, finish off, it'll turn itself off. You'll have a nice 10-minute session, you'll be exactly where you want to be. A lot of cloud, not a lot of flavor. Not good flavor anyways. Well, that's the Arizer Air. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. As usual, there's links to our Facebook and Twitter pages in the description. We're on Reddit and FC under the username Paint the Moon. Feel free to send us any questions. Please subscribe. We're also running a giveaway right now for the V2 Pro Series 3. Go to our site and check out that giveaway. It's awesome. It's a great unit. First vape pen that can vape actual dry herbs and not burn them. It's awesome. So please stop by. I'll answer any questions you guys have.